Welcome to the Black Script Storytellers. My name is Kevin Marable, and today our guest is an actress, stunt performer, writer, and rising creative force whose journey is as powerful as the stories she helps bring to life. From her standout stunt work on Black Panther: Wakanda Forever to her impactful performances in HBO's We Own This City and Tyler Perry's hit film Straw, she's become a multi-hyphenate talent redefining what versatility looks like in this industry. And now, with her upcoming role in Footage Film's new project, Leave, she continues to expand her reach, bringing authenticity to every frame. She's a storyteller in motion, carving out space for depth, representation, and purpose with every project she touches. We have with us today Shalét Monique. Shalét, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. That was a beautiful introduction.
We're
Yeah,
excited to have
absolutely. What were you going to say, Dominique? Sorry.
her. We're excited to have her.
Thank you. I'm grateful and excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely. We're excited to have you. I know we had been in some conversations in the past. I told you when the time was right that, we would circle back and bring you on. So, uh, you know, Dom reached out to me and let me know, like, hey, can we bring Shalét on for an interview? And I said, you know what? We've actually been in conversation before. Let's go ahead and make it happen. So, um,
Yes, thank you. I
yeah,
love how life has a great way of circling back. That's absolutely amazing. It's the journey, right?
Mhm.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Shalét, I like to start off every interview with a very simple question, but some people might find it a little difficult to answer. Are you ready? That question is, who is Shalét Monique?
Who am I? I'm a number one say I'm God's child. I really, really love God. I really love who He has created me to be, and I wouldn't choose to be anyone else. Who I am is I am a powerful woman. I call myself the MVP. My words are powerful. Um, I really am a lover, achiever. I love people, and I'm just a lover of all things. That's who I am.
Nice, nice. I like that you know who you are. You're able to wrap that up in a bow, pretty nice and neat. Not everybody knows who they are as a person, so it's great to know that you are um, sure of yourself and you know who you are as a person and what you're here to accomplish.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's just to be a loving person. A lot of times we don't even notice that people just need a little bit of love in their life. And they can feel it. And if that's who God has me on earth to be, here I am showing up.
Dominique, do you want to go ahead and ask a question?
Yeah, I do have one. I'm really excited to know. So, your journey into acting has been incredibly unique, from teaching to stunt work to landing dramatic roles. Could you kind of talk us through that path and share how you ultimately found yourself building a career in acting?
Yes, absolutely. My journey is definitely not traditional. To be honest, when I told my dad that I was going to be an actor, he looked at me and said, "What are you talking about? Like, I couldn't even get you to stand in front of your classroom to do any type of activity or a play or anything. Like, where is this coming from?" And I just had to tell him the journey. I have a degree in education,
Mhm.
and my first year of teaching, we were laid off with a thing called reduction in force. So our school district didn't have enough funding to pay the teachers. So the new teachers were the first to go. So I was just sitting there with this brand new degree, student loans, and like this was my world. Teaching was my world. I always say to everyone, like my first hint of fame or celebrity like behavior was in the classroom. I literally walk into a classroom and everybody's like, "Miss Jefferson!" And I'm like, "What I do to y'all? Like y'all love me like." And it's just such an interesting thing. It was just such a beautiful thing to experience when young kids love you and they love you and they show you that they love you. The hugs and everything, that was like highlights of my life. So I couldn't imagine not teaching anymore. So I was in kind of a space. And I had, while I was teaching my first year, I was in my master's program and it was time for graduation. And I'm like, I didn't even get the year I needed to teach to operate in my master's degree because I don't have a job right now. So I remember Jamal Bryant was coming to my church in New Jersey from Baltimore. And my sister was like, "Well, come to church since you can't go to your graduation. Finances were all crazy and chaotic." And I was like, "You know what? Okay, fine. I guess I'll be in church then instead of my graduation from my master's degree as a single mom of two boys." Like, what? So I just said, I went to church and Jamal Bryant said something I will never forget. He said, "You are going to do something that no one in your family has attempted to do, and it's going to happen with supernatural success." And it
Mm,
spoke to me. And I remember having $100 on my debit card. Now, this is my truth, and God knows.
Mm-hmm.
He knows me. He can't bless who I pretend to be. So I'm always authentically real. So I'd be mad when I put $5 in church because I'm like, what you doing with my money? But, but I had this $100 on this card and I was like, it's all I have left. But my spirit led me to give this money to church and let alone putting physical cash in the collection plate. I was like, you know, good and well, God, I'm not putting my debit card number on this folder now. And he convicted me so hard. And I just remember crying and tears flowing down my eyes. And I'm like, I surrender. And I
hmm
went ahead and I wrote my card number down and I put it in a box and I fell out at the altar and I felt something that day that I've never felt before in my life. And I can't explain it. And then the next thing I know, someone randomly contacted me and was like, hey, you're out for the summer, right? And I'm like, yeah. Well, they're looking for someone who acts like Cardi B. Now, me and Cardi B got the same birthday. So So I'm like, well, what do you mean acting? They're like, well, we need you to go out to Newark, New Jersey, and I need you to go ahead and do this skit real quick or this play real quick, film real quick. And I'm like, skit, play, film, what are you talking about? But it was a summer. I had nothing else to do and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And it was a fight scene in the middle of the streets in Newark. And I'm like, what? How do you fake fight on camera? So I never forget Nimi Hendrix. He navigated me. And as a teacher, I'm always willing to learn and I listen really well. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So we're out there fist fighting and rolling in the streets and doing all this acting stuff. And next thing you know, I get a call like, hey, we were invited, we have been selected to put our film in a Newark International Film Festival. And I'm like, okay, not knowing what the heck a Newark International Film Festival was or how major that was. So I
Mm-hmm.
show up at the film festival and we're in the theaters and I'm looking at myself on this big screen like, what in the world is happening right now? And we won. We won, and the host of the awards that year for the Newark International Film Festival was Lorenz Tate and his brother
yeah.
and Lamar Tate, and they're up there hugging us, and then the producer and director's like, this is her first time ever on set, and then everyone started calling me and saying, hey, we want you in our film, and then I had to be like, pause, because I don't even know what I'm doing. I need to take my butt to some time. What do y'all do? Classes or what? How do you just learn to act? So that's what the educator part in me wind up saying. I need to go into classes, and I started taking classes in Philadelphia, lugging my two kids along with me, and the story has been written.
Oh, that's an incredible journey. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, thank you for asking.
And I love that it started with God and you in church and just receiving that message from Jamal.
Yeah, and I reach back out and tell him my journey, and he's always celebrates me. So it's really a beautiful journey. Like that's why I said surrender is greater than anything. When you really surrender to the things that you want to do and your thoughts, everything begins to flourish for you.
Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. Now, you said that you were a teacher. Are you still teaching? Have you fully stepped away from that? Are you still
I
doing
did
that?
for a few years. So during
Okay.
COVID, that was magical. I don't think people really understood. If they did, I can't assume what people thought, but it was such a magical moment. Even though everything was happening, I say that to say it really gave you a chance to sow into you. If you were
Mm,
at home sowing into you, it was phenomenal. And that's when I really stepped into out on faith and I began to say, you know what? I always will have my teaching career. Let me go ahead and fully emerge in this. And that's when I became a stunt woman. And it was like income was coming in because I was a teacher. So I was online part time. You know, I was just substitute teaching online. It wasn't a full time career. And I started going to stunt training. And this is the crazy part. I still teach full time to this day. It's because God kept pulling my heartstrings to go back into the classroom. And I said, okay, I surrender again. And I go back in the classroom. And it's a beautiful thing because all my students get to watch me
yeah.
live out my dream in 3D. And I know they see a lot of things online and they're like, celebrities live like this. Everybody's, once you make it to Tyler Perry, you are a celebrity. So they're like, Miss Jefferson, how much do you make? You don't need this job. And I'm like, I really want to make sure that I'm here to inspire you guys, to let you guys know that your dreams are valid and they're possible. And everyone does not live like you might see online on social media with Bentleys and all these other things that are great. But everyone doesn't have to live like that. There's people every day in your life that's walking around, that's pursuing their dreams that look just like you. So that's how I wound up getting into stunt training and going back into work full time, is because I had the time during COVID
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
to go into substitute teaching. And I remember saying, God, I can't get rid of my job full time because I have my sons to take care of. And he's like, he called it, all this chaos kept happening in the school. And this was a time where they were taking advantage of people during COVID. And we were using teacher certs that we didn't have. Sorry, Lord, but that's the truth. And I was like, I cannot risk losing my teacher cert because if I need to go back to work, I'm gonna need my certification. So he kept pulling my string to move up out of that job, and I wind up doing it. And a month later, that was January 1st, I sent my resignation. By February 1st, I was in Wakanda Forever,
Wow.
and then I went back to work 2 years later to stay fully immersed and just inspire the students.
Yeah. And it's great that you are doing that because you're a leader first and foremost to them. You're setting an example
Mm-hmm.
and you're showing them that it is also possible for little black kids, brown kids of all ethnicities to say,
Yes,
"Hey, if I can do it, you can do it too."
yes,
And just because you see people on TV, it's not unattainable. You can
mm-hmm.
also attain it as well. And I'm, as you can see with me, I'm also down to earth. I'm here. I'm pouring into you just as others poured into me. So you're giving them a true example of what it's like to not only have stardom and fame on TV and be in the TV and film industry, but also, you know, the real world is still present as well, and kids can see that. So
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah. One of the
Absolutely.
highlights of my career with Straw is, um, we never know when these residual checks come,
Mm-hmm.
and we never know. And I remember the news articles coming out about EBT benefits and stat benefits being cut off. And I'm like, it's Thanksgiving. I already watched so many kids come into school hungry. Miss Jefferson, what you got to eat today? And I'm always bringing extra food, extra snacks, extra waters because I already know they come from places where they may not have eaten. And this residual check came in, and I'm like, God, what do I do with this? Because I can't sit here and hear all my students and my coworkers and the community like, oh, we have this teacher that's an actor too. We didn't know because I didn't tell them that I was an actor. I just go into the classroom and they
Uh,
found out watching the movie. And some found out from other projects that I've done as well. They just couldn't put their hand on where they saw me at before. God said, sow this back into your community. They supported you, you support them back. So that's my highlight. This is what my why. And I was able to put a Google sheet out and have our families in our school write how many kids they had and their food stamp, if they received food stamps or not. And I was able to give out that money and for the families during that time. And that's my why. That's why I also stay in the classroom too.
mm-hmm.
Amazing. That's amazing.
It is. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I want to stay briefly on the topic of Straw, the movie. So when you first read the script, because it's such a beautiful and a powerful story, right? When you first read the script, what stood out to you and what parts of Raya's story drew you to her and made you want to portray this character?
My goodness, it was a beautiful experience with Straw because I remember getting the audition, and it's the last week of school, and I'm reading the script with the students because they didn't know who it was for Tyler Perry, so we were just reading it, and I'm rehearsing my lines with them. And the more and more I read it, I was like, this character is so me. Like, I feel like, and this is humbly, I'm an unsung hero in that story because if I didn't go live, the world would have only seen her as a one-dimensional character, a criminal. But me going live allowed people to see her humanity and let other people stand up for her and fight for her and advocate for her. And that's what I do in my daily life. Like I literally make sure that people are seeing past their trauma or past their circumstances. Like I teach special ed, so I teach kids with behavior, emotional, all types of disabilities, and I make sure that my students get seen, not by their disability, not by their behavior issues, but as who they are. And it just was a mirror to my real world, and it allowed me to just authentically be that character. So I'm grateful and I'm humbly not shocked that I received that opportunity because I feel like I live that every day.
Now, what was your your first response once you knew you got the part?
Now that was cool. I was sitting on the bus,
Hmm.
in a school bus, y'all, with a bunch of yelling kids in the background, and they're heading to graduation. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? We're going to college. We're going here. We're going there. We're going to military. And I'm just like, yeah. They're like, Miss Jefferson, well, what are you gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do this summer yet. I'm just gonna, live life and see what happens this summer. And then I get a call and it said Jay Purvis, and I'm like,
Mm.
what's this call for? So I
Mhm.
answered. It was like, Shalét, congratulations, you booked the Tyler Perry show. Now, the
Hey.
interesting part is I had two roles, two characters that I auditioned for. The first one was Riot, and it was a bigger audition. It was like a lot of pages. The second one was just it said customer number one. So
Mhm.
when I got the customer number one audition, I was like, all right, God, thank you for the opportunity, but at least I get a second chance at this because I really felt good about the audition. And I was thinking, I got the customer number one. Thank you. It'll be my first Tyler Perry. You got to start somewhere. I'm so grateful and excited, because I believe in what he does. I do.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, cool. She said, oh, no, you didn't get that one. I love your humility. You got Raya. I said, I did what? She said, yeah. And I start screaming, and the kid's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong, Miss Jefferson?" I was like, and the whole bus
Yes.
just da da da. And I was like, "But enough of that, because this is about you guys today. Today is all
Mhm.
about you guys." They're like, and it just felt good. I really got to celebrate with my students, and it was such a blessing because, like I said, I was reading the script with them as I was rehearsing. Because a lot of times I have to rehearse during school hours,
Hmm.
because that our auditions be quick turnarounds, and I'm at work full time.
Mhm. Wow.
God, that's incredible. So you got your win and your celebration too with the kids on the bus.
Yes, it was. I will never forget that day on the way to graduation on the bus, school bus.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So before we move forward, let's talk a little bit about the stunt coordinating.
Mm.
Uh, how did you get into that, and how does one get into becoming a stunt coordinator?
Okay. Fun fact: I used to fight a lot as a kid. I
Ah,
used to fight a lot as a kid. I had a point to prove. I was little. People used to think that, oh, Shalay's so nice. She's not gonna do anything. So I had a point to prove as a kid.
Me.
I'm serious. So like, um, it's so funny how God will turn the things that you used to get in trouble for, things that used to be your flaws and your thorn, to something so positive. So, like I said, during COVID, I just my mentee has said, Mentress, you're in Atlanta, and I want to see what Atlanta's all about. There's so much talk about Atlanta. I just want to go to all types of workshops or whatever they have there. And stunt training was one of them. And I was like, well, I'm down for it. Let's do it. And I went one day and I was fixed. Because the truth is too, I do not like going to the gym. My ADHD be kicking in, and I get bored with the music and everything. So I be like, nothing helps me stay wanting to go consistently, but stunt training is my workout. Like, it's really interactive. I get to work out, I get to have fun and flip and jump. And that became my thing. That became my stunt training, became my workout, became a space for me mentally, and it gave me a space that I didn't feel stagnant, because as an actor in the journey, you get a lot of no's. But in stunt class, I was getting yeses because I was able to do this. Oh, you learned this? Great. Let's put you in. We're doing some independent projects. Now I'm noticing that a lot of my roles I'm doing my own stunts. Like Wakanda Forever, I was booked as I emailed them to do a background role.
mhm.
And they were like, actually, hang tight. We had an actor from last fall that could not come, and you matched their description very well.
Wow.
And I hung tight, and she wrote me back. She said, "You're actually booked for an FBI agent." So I had to mirror the person that was no longer able to come. It was like a reshoot. Something must have happened, and they had to refilm in January. So I
Mhm.
got to play an FBI agent, and it required weapons training, and
Mm.
I had all that training, so it wound up working out perfectly.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
And now every movie, most of the movies I've done, like We Own This City, they hired me to, because running in hills is actually a stunt. Believe it or not. Yeah, running in hills. So when I did We Own This City, they reached out to me. The stunt coordinator actually reached out to me. They're like, "Can you run in hills?" I said, "Absolutely," and they booked me for that and gave me a character, Tiana. That made me become a character and a stunt woman. And then Wakanda Forever, I submitted to be a specialty FBI agent with weapons handling training, and they wind up giving me the title of FBI agent. And in my two most recent films, I'm doing my own stunts as well. And in Straw, I ran in hills.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, yes, you've been doing your own stunts in every movie, in every show.
Yeah, so go it recycles back to or re goes back to my first thing that I ever done, and when I had no idea what stunts were and anything, I was doing it. So
Mm.
it's pretty cool.
That's again, that sounds incredible. And I resonate with you when you said trying to find an alternative to workout. So stunt training becomes the workout and it's fun.
Yeah, you gotta find an alternative. It's not for you because it's really great for your mental health. We all know how important mental health is in any journey we have in life. So if you can't get to the gym for that dopamine, you gotta find it somewhere else.
And also, if it's okay, stay on the topic of the Wakanda, but Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So previously, you described stepping onto that set and instantly feeling the love, much like you feel the love in from the students in your class, especially the cast's love for the late Chadwick Boseman. Could you speak more about what that experience meant to you and
Uh,
what it was like working on a Ryan Coogler set?
First of all, Ryan Coogler is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. He is a actor's dream to be directed by. Honestly, um, another thing, just to have a black narrative so powerful, that is so relatable, and that so many people that look like me and you watch. Just to say you're part of that is something I will never ever take for granted. It's such a and the set was just such a beautiful aura. Like you ever walk into a place and you just feel like the love that surrounds you without even touching anybody, without hugging anybody, without doing speaking to anybody. You could just feel the his love, how much they loved him. The minute you walked on the set, everybody felt like they were working on purpose and for purpose. And it's just something that I hold with me forever because that was one of the best feelings that I've felt in the industry is that feeling stepping onto that set.
And it showed in the film, the love.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was in tears. I was like, you could feel the love. And that's why I want to do this. This is why I want to do that because I am all about love and just that feeling of love. And that was another testimony to why I'm in this industry. Like, I want to always be in that space and create that space. And I pray that I receive, people want to feel that same love when I go.
Right, absolutely.
Feel that same love exuding from me.
Yes. Now, before we get to your next film, which
Mm.
is coming soon, and
Yeah,
Yes.
congratulations on that.
thank you.
In between shooting Straw and then now with Leave, how much time is there in between those gaps, or did you get picked up right away? You just weren't able to announce it until it was time.
Yeah, so right after Straw, I booked another film with footage film that's coming out called Unrequited, and it has Zule and Flex Alexander, Flex Washington. I'm not sure which one he goes by, but um, Flex is in it, and they called me like, Shalay, you're so humble. We did not know you were in Straw. Chris Stokes and the producers said, we did not know you were a part of Straw. And we're watching it, and we're like, that's Shalay from our Adopted series. And I
Right,
was like, yeah, I go to work and I come there for my job. I'm not there to brag about what I'm doing. I'm not there to speak on any other thing. I'm there to perform. And he's like, well, we got a perfect role for you. We've been wanting to work with you again anyway. We got a perfect role for you. And so that movie's going to be phenomenal. Again, a whole lot of stunt work as well.
Okay.
now let's talk a little bit about the film Leave. That's a footage film project. Chris Stokes
Marcus Houston.
is Houston. I actually had a chance to interview them and speak to them. They told me briefly about the film, but they couldn't really reveal anything.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can't reveal too
Yeah,
much.
not a whole lot, but I can give you a little something, something.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could tell us a little premise, and then as well as who your character is, and what your role is going to be in the film.
I am so grateful for Chris Stokes and Marcus Houston. Like they're another what I call home set. Like they are home feeling. I really enjoy working with them. So grateful for them. Their work ethic is phenomenal, out of this world. They're just such a joy to work with. And they called me and said, no, I was filming, excuse me, I was filming Unrequited with them. And they were like, can you meet us when we're done? And I said, sure. And they said, we have this other movie and we wrote it a while ago and we've been looking for the lead.
Hmm.
Can you stay an extra day? I said, what? And I love this movie so much because it has historical pieces. And as a teacher, I love making sure that my students and, the youth know about their history, especially people of color. And it's based off of Freemanville, Florida, which is a real place, and where Black people had their own things established. They had their own businesses, they had schools and everything, and then they just disappeared. They vanished. They don't talk about it much. It's almost like Tulsa number two. It's like it's almost like what happened? Like where did these people go and why? And to be able to be part of that story, just to get inquiring minds to start doing some more research about their history is phenomenal. And then the second greatest thing I love about that is I went all natural. Like there's no makeup, like there's no nothing. And I love, like I am a no makeup kind of person. Give me some suntan lotion, a little bit of brow pencil and some lip gloss and I am A-OK. And so I got to have that full experience in a full feature film. I'm so grateful. I got to work with amazing Stephen Barrington, where when I first got into the industry and moved to Atlanta, he was on a set, and I remember watching him like, whoa, he is an actor. And I pray one day I get to be a strong actor like him. And I remember I was just as a production assistant and to be play his wife in a feature film to lead with him, it's like, here we go, talking about those cycles again, how life just turns and spins the block. And with Newton, and man, the cast on this film is phenomenal. Um, it's definitely it's definitely not what you think it is. The trailer gives it no justice.
Okay.
Not saying no justice. The trailer is just such a small speck to the full movie. The full movie is beautifully shot. The visuals beautiful. The story beautiful. The actors amazing. I'm so excited. I think this is one of my biggest films I've ever done, and I'm so grateful.
We will
So
be
grateful.
excited for that one for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It's definitely Straw, Black Panther, Leave. Like these are projects that I'm just so grateful for. I'm so grateful and honored.
Listen, you're already building a strong resume, uh,
Thank you.
with everything that you've been able to accomplish in this window of time, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming. And the fact that you're able to act with such strong actors as well, um, it lends to learning and improving on your craft and seeing how they work and how they move and act and everything on set. I'm sure that a lot of that is picked up along the way as you're watching.
Hmm.
Yeah, you watch. You humble enough to say, I don't know it all, I don't have it all, and I'm able to learn from other people. And that's what my biggest thing is, learn. I learned so much from Taraji. Ooh,
Mhm.
she is phenomenal.
Hmm.
I learned so much from Sherry Shepard. I watched her go from comedy to this dramatic role.
Right.
My scene partners, Ashley Verscher, phenomenal. Diva Tyler, she's been in the game for so long. She's done all the what are they called? Screams. Yeah. And it's just like I'm really sitting here amongst all these talented people. Like if I didn't walk out of there learning something new, sis, figure something else out. I learned so much.
Being that you just mentioned so many powerful and talented Black actresses, I do want to pause a little bit on that topic. So, in projects like BET Hers Presents, The Waiting
Yeah.
Room, Adopted, even The Short Hands Up, and of course, Straw, you often portray Black women in community with other Black women. How important
Yes.
is that choice for you, and why do you believe that those portrayals are still really important on screen today?
It's so important. Black women, we are so powerful. We are so powerful. And I just believe that portraying that power outside of hypersexualized, means so much to our viewers. Means so much to our viewers. Like in Straw, I got to be a strong black woman. Even though I was scared, I got to make a difference. With my phone. A lot of people use phones for evil. I got to use my phone for something good. Even though it was like, why she take out that phone? You made me so mad. But even though the world looked at it as, oh, she's trying to show Taraji off. For me, my character, for me, how I visualized it and how I put it out there was, I need you guys to see this lady struggle, right,
Mhm.
in a positive way. Just like we see things change when we post things on social media, and then we became to rally around people and advocate for people. We're powerful people. We're powerful in the things that we do.
Absolutely.
Hands up, just being the first time I ever played a slave, I got to really immersed in that space that was our reality at one point, right? And BT Hers, working across Clarissa Shields, and people, women every day, we're battling all types of mental health issues, physical health issues, but we still have to show up every day. Our menstrual cramps, okay? We got to show up to work, right? And we have to perform just like everybody else, in pain or not. So it's just a beautiful portrayal of strength. And I think that Black women deserve to be shown in strength. And I'm really so grateful for every project I've worked on. So grateful.
Mhm.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Let's go ahead and talk about the other project for Footage Films,
I'm
that you're
required.
starring in. You're the lead.
Yeah, so Zule Hernanen, and I always call him Flex Alexander. But Flex, I grew up watching him, and I'm third on the call sheet, and it's definitely a twisty, turdy story, and it's very action packed. And I can't wait for you guys to see that one as well when they start posting it and talking about it as well. But Chris is moving. Chris and Marcus is moving. They're making fun content. They're making content that's enjoyable to watch, and I'm grateful that they chose me to portray their stories and be involved in their work and their storytelling.
Yeah, when I spoke with them, they were already dominating the independent film market. They were dominating on Tubi. I think they have the most films on Tubi. And then Chris also alluded to the fact that taking baby steps from
The
Run
theaters.
right to theaters. Run was the first
Yep.
test format in theaters.
Now we have lead.
Right, and then next is Leave, and I'm sure I think he said there's like several other projects afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's also an amazing thing to be a part of something that is growing, and you can see the trajectory
Yeah.
and the process, and you're growing right along with them.
Yeah, and that's why I said I'm so grateful. Like he wants to see more people, Black people, in theaters, going to the movie theaters, and I'm so glad to be part of that. Because he actually, for Run, he actually paid rented out a theater for my students to watch it, and I was like, Chris is amazing. Chris and Marcus are absolutely amazing, and it shows. I'm just I'm just in a space where I'm grateful to be part of like these people's journeys, right? And at the same time, Straw was number one. I had Adopted number one. Adopted went number one, and Straw was number one. I'm just so grateful that I am working with these people that had a vision and are able to really live them out loud.
Mhm.
And it's all part of my mission to continue to let my students and youth and people know that your vision is valid.
Hmm.
What you see is real. God doesn't give you these dreams for no reason. You didn't wake up and say, I'm going to be a doctor for no reason or a lawyer for no reason. Everything that you dreamed of, your imagination is all attainable. It is attainable. And as long as you believe that your dreams are real and your imagination never dies, live your life to the fullest because it's all possible.
Yeah, I love
So I'm living in my own dreams and other people's dreams and being part of other people's dreams. And I'm so grateful.
right, right.
I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you. Yeah,
You're so welcome.
living in your dream, getting your dream roles, working with dream cast members that you referenced earlier. You also talked about one of your responses. You said you Black women are powerful, and you just appreciate representing that on screen. And you've taken on some roles that really explore heavy and complex emotional experiences, such as police brutality, health crises, trauma, caregiving. As also a mental health advocate, how do you maintain your own sense of well being while preparing for, performing, and stepping out of those roles?
I always remember my why.
Mm.
Why am I doing this? And I always remember that I am powerful. And I always keep God first because He doesn't put on us more than we can bear. So even when times get hard or you feel like you're, because I'm not perfect. So there's time where I just get discouraged or I get down. I just be remembering it's protection.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You don't know what's behind the scenes that you're not seeing because we can't see it with our human eyes.
Right.
And just do the work. It just reminds me to do the work. Do the
Right.
work and keep purpose and your why first. And once I remind myself of that, it's like, all right, pull up your bootstraps. You a strong black woman. Get back to it.
Hmm.
And that's how I just flow like a current, right? The river just flows and it gets to its destination. And once you make that priority, I don't think you're unstoppable. You can't put a rock in the middle of a current and then expect it to stop. No, that them hurdles do nothing to where you're going. So I just continue to remind myself of that as often as possible, even when I don't have the strength to. I find I have some amazing industry friends that always remind me. We hold each other accountable, and like Levi. Thank you, Levi, so much for inviting me and speaking my name in rooms that I hadn't even entered into because those become part of your current. Those become part of your current, and you guys continue to flow and create and believe in each other and hold each other accountable and having genuine friends that are there for the ride with you is so important. So important.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Um, have you had any pitfalls or hurdles that you've had to cross within your
Yes.
career?
Rejection. We get rejected. We get told, you know how many days, like nights, like for example, and this is humbly and gratefully, and it's not to say anything bad or feel like, oh gosh, I'm lashing out. No, it's just the truth, right? After I did Straw, I got a 7-page audition the next day for the Oval. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Exhausted because we I think we filmed it in 5 days or something like that. Like it was big trending thing. So we're like we had all those lines and it was great. So I have no complaints. But then you gotta get up, learn 7 pages, and it's doing 48 hours and you don't get the role. And you're like, I know I killed Straw and I got but it is what it is. And you if the minute you start trying to figure out things,
Hmm.
that's where you mess up.
Right. But
It's not for you to
you gotta
figure
learn
out.
how to bounce back, you know? And
Yeah, it's not for you to figure out or understand. It's just thank you for the opportunity. They see me and I see my work. I saw my possibility. I saw my power. I saw how I was able to go from working that hard on that set to jumping into something new that fast. That was my first experience having that experience. And I was like, I did it though. I really showed up. And then you celebrate yourself. You celebrate yourself for showing up and doing the work. And what you thought was impossible became possible within a matter of hours, you know? So always focus on your power.
Can you
Mhm.
Focus on your
expand
power.
on that a little bit, Shalay? When you say you saw your power, do you mean in the moment while you were acting, or when you watched the?
When you stop and you think like the minute that negative thought comes through your head.
Hmm.
Because you look at TV, you're like, oh, I hope I do it good enough. I hope nobody talks about me. I hope the minute those negative thoughts go, my power is I audition for this.
Hmm.
I put the work in
Yep.
and I'm here. And that's my power. So everything else is not, that has nothing to do with your power. Like it has nothing to do with your power lied in what you did. It can't control what everyone else does. It only controls you. You are in control. And that's the only thing. It felt like a control thing. I can control my mind to say, I don't care what nobody feels or think. I use my power to get here.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
stepped into my power, and that's how I feel, and that's how I'm going to continue to feel. And I'm so grateful for, and I pray that more people begin to see their power, and that's why I really pray over the industry that people see their power, so they don't get so discouraged.
I love
Mhm.
that. That's a message for all the actors and industry professionals. See your power.
Right. Yeah.
My voice is power. MVP, my one of my great friends, Christine, reminded me that, and ever since then, I'm like, I'm the MVP.
I love that.
My
Yeah.
voice is
Good.
my power.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope.
Yes, we have to
Um,
talk to ourselves better. We have to speak kindly to ourselves. We have to when the negative thoughts come in, we have to say, but I did this and I did that. And I showed up and I learned 32 scenes and I played across Taraji P. Henson in my first 5 years of my acting journey. And I played across Sherry Shepherd, who's been doing this for years, and I'm only 5 years in, minus one for COVID. And and these people have all these credits that on network television, and I'm stepping into my first one. I have power.
Um,
I do have one more. I think you kind of
yeah.
touched on it when you talked about seeing and knowing your power, and I think that's such an incredibly important message. Period, but also given the industry change. The industry changes that are happening now. So the industry, as we all know, is currently undergoing some changes, including AI and vertical films, just to name a few, that have garnered mixed reviews from filmmakers, actors, and other industry professionals. Amid these changes, what do you see, Shalay, as your staying power or the qualities that keep you grounded in this industry? So when all this panic is happening, what does Shalay say? You know what? This is what keeps me grounded in this time.
Listen, life changes.
Hmm.
And a lot of times it changes for the better. Like we literally go through cycles where we had flip phones and Nokias, and now we have iPhones, right? And the change doesn't always feel good or look good, or we can't always see where it's going. But I just trust the journey, and that's where you have to trust the journey. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what it's going to mean for me, but I know that I wasn't put in this industry for nothing. I know that I'm powerful enough for a change. I know that I'm supported enough to you have friends and things when I do feel like I have no idea what's going on and feel discouraged. I know that I'm set up in a place that as these changes come, I feel supported. The industry keeps us updated with our social media and our agents. So we're supported. That's all you need to feel supported, feel like you have someone going through the journey with you, and your power and understanding like I can go through anything. I can withstand anything. It
Hmm.
still doesn't take away from what my purpose is.
Amen.
Yeah, no, that's facts. Facts all day. Um, yeah, there is a lot of changes that's happening, within the industry. Today was just announced that Netflix is purchasing Warner Brothers.
They
Uh,
play Monopoly.
yeah. And that could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, but it's definitely another shift in a direction that where we can't really foresee what's to come in
Hmm.
ahead. Uh,
Agent just called me yesterday and said,
yeah,
"How do you feel about verticals?" And I'm like,
yes.
Yep.
But to be honest with you, I actually think verticals is a good thing.
Mm.
Some people are
"Yeah, I haven't had time to like. I've been getting so many auditions. I haven't had time to sit there and say what are verticals. I see them, but I don't know exactly what they are."
so I can give you as quick as I can. I'll
Okay.
give you a brief rundown as what it is. Right around COVID time, or maybe right before COVID, there was an app that came out called Quibi. It only lasted about 6 to 8 months. Hollywood poured hundreds of millions of dollars into it, and I think when they first launched, they had like somewhere between 5 and 10 projects on the platform. It was a app on your phone that only showed you vertical shorts, and the
Mm.
vertical shorts were features. I mean, not features, a series. And I think they might have had one film on there, maybe. I could be wrong, but it was a platform that was meant for bite-sized entertainment or quick
Mm.
entertainment, like when you're on the train on your way to work, or you're on your a road trip or something like that. You can actually watch 10 episodes that are 10 minutes each, and finish a full series
Wow.
of something on your phone. And people were already staring at their phones anyway, and it was in a vertical format. And the reason why Quibi didn't last is, I think, is they jumped the gun. They poured too much money into it.
Mm.
They didn't get enough time to really bring it to market the way that
Market.
should have. And once COVID happened and everything else happened within the industry, things just kind of fell apart and they went belly up in less than a year. But within that time, after they went belly up, TikTok started introducing longer formatted vertical time.
Mhm.
Instagram went from 1 minute to 3 minutes to 10 minutes. Um, YouTube introduced YouTube Shorts. So all these other platforms started to incorporate what Quibi was trying to do within their social media platforms. But obviously, within the TV and film industry, SAG wasn't behind it, and
Yeah.
none of that. So they looked at it as something that wasn't considered authentic to TV and film. Well, I just read an article maybe 5 months ago, that over in like places like China, Japan, and whatnot, they have these micro dramas, and they have several platforms over there that are similar to Quibi, and they're making a killing right now. It's already an $8 billion market, and
She told me the rates in
yeah,
LA, how they're going up. I said,
and so money talks, and because they see where it's what it's doing for, the micro dramas and over in Asia, in Asian territories, they want to bring that back over here and try it again, with micro dramas and verticals, and you can get things done a lot faster, a lot quicker. And with just the rise of social media and everybody's on their phones and on their platforms for longer periods of time, it only makes sense. Now,
if I was to move by my flesh, sorry, excuse me, if I was to move by my flesh and not by what I really know to be true,
Mm-hmm.
my only concern with that is the people like me who are still fighting for network credits so that
Mm.
they can get bigger opportunities on network television, because it's
mhm,
not your talent sometimes, is you just don't have enough credits, right? Because you're up against people with series regulars and multiple networks. How does that fit in? Is it going to still make us feel like we're doing too many indie projects and not enough network? And that will be the only question I like.
Great question.
and so my answer to that, and I'm not saying that I have the absolute answer in this, but another thing that's happening that people have yet to really talk about is a lot of these brands are also shifting to becoming their own network. So
Hmm.
you have Chick-fil-A introducing their own network. You have,
Oh,
uh, like other, say, clothing lines and whatnot. Instead of doing the traditional ad, they're now introducing these mini series and micro series and whatnot, with people wearing their clothes and people,
mm.
so it's basically like a walking talking billboard for their
Or
product, right? And that's where pretty soon the networks and the studios are going to be all the brand.
got it. So that's why I say that's why I don't let my flesh really tell me too much,
Hmm.
because you just never know. And while we're sitting up there downplaying, oh, I don't have NBC and CBS. What's happening behind the scenes, the unknown is happening, and you're part of it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yep.
But
yeah,
you're talking down on it already. Like your words are powerful. You're talking down on it already. So
you're
that's why
helping.
I told her I'd be interested, my agent, and I said, but I did question that one part, and then I had to realize just now again, stop thinking like that. Stop thinking like that because you don't know.
Yeah, you got to look at every opportunity as what it is. It's an
Yeah.
opportunity, and you may not know where it might lead you, but in the grand scheme of things,
Mm-hmm.
you're really at the forefront of something that is changing, that
Mm-hmm.
the next generation will be used to and accustomed to, but we're just not used to it and accustomed to it yet, because it's it's being introduced to us, whereas the
Yeah.
next generation, they're going to come into it already set.
Yeah. Like our parents. Why y'all doing this? Now I see why my parents.
Right, exactly.
I get it now.
It's
I
really
get
what it is.
it.
It's like the new age of the internet. You have AI.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
everything has its phase in life, and
Yeah.
we're just entering into a different phase. That's
Yep.
all.
Absolutely. This was awesome. Thank you for educating me because I definitely just was told yesterday, like they really want to see you for verticals. And I just said, give me a second, let me pray on it because I don't like to just rush into a yes. Like everything shouldn't be a yes because you want to make sure that they're aligning to your brand, aligning to your purpose, and all those things. And I told her I just need a little bit more time to research it, look up the company, and blah, 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 blah. But now that I know more, it fell right in time, right on time. Thank you.
And from what I hear, the verticals are paying pretty well right now.
Yeah, it was like 1,000 something a day, she
Yeah,
told me.
because
So
they're
I'm gonna
pouring all
read
their
it.
money into it, because they want it to work. They want to see it happen, and everybody's now on board now that SAG-AFTRA's
Yeah.
on board. So now it's a go, and I can guarantee you that next year is going to be crazy. You're going to hear about verticals, micro dramas, micro series, popping up everywhere.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. I'm excited. I'm excited for whatever the industry brings. Because change is not always bad. Change is sometimes a really, really good thing.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, being that, you know, you're only 5 years in, but once you get to your 10th year, your 15th year, your 20th year, when you do those interviews at that time, they're gonna be like, "I remember when you were one of the first ones that was on one of the first vertical series that I watched, or my mom watched it and fell in love."
Yeah.
You never know. You really never.
Yeah. You never know. You
Yeah.
never know. Just enjoy the journey. Be like a current. Just flow. Just let it flow.
Enjoy
Well,
it.
Shalay, I like to give the guests that come onto the platform the final word, whether that be a piece of advice, words of encouragement, or a quote that you like to live by. You could say one of the three, or you could say all three. It's up to you.
Okay. Let me pray on it first. My word of advice is remind yourself daily that you are powerful. And as long as you are in control of your own power, nothing around you can stop it. You have no kryptonite. The only kryptonite is you. When you start acknowledging and not seeing your power that you hold every single day. Really step into your power. We are powerful beings. Very powerful. Watch what you say, watch how you treat people, and let everything just come to you.
What
I
a
love that.
word. Oh God. What a word.
Seriously. We gotta watch. We have to know how powerful we are. Like we literally get up every morning, like that's a level of power, right? And then there's some people that don't, and that means that, their time has expired or whatever the case may be. Is not for us to understand. But the fact that you're getting up and you're operating in the things that you believe in is powerful.
Right.
So why give it up with negative words or allowing people to bring you down? Why do that?
Every day you have another chance, a brand new chance.
Yes, this is awesome. I enjoyed myself so much.
It was such a
Yeah.
pleasure
No.
meeting you.
Yes, we enjoyed having you on. This was good. This is actually Dom's first interview. So
Yay, Dom! Come
And for
on!
life.
And
Shout out to Levi because he's
yes, and I pray that this gives you another sense of power, and your words are powerful, and the presence that you bring are powerful, and the questions that you ask really manifested in me because it made me think. It was very thought provoking. Thank you so much for allowing me to dream bigger. To dream bigger just by your questions. Your questions gave me more life. It gave me more possibilities, and I thank you for that.
and I thank
yeah.
you too so much. Thank you
You're
both.
welcome.
Yes, and that is Shalét Monique, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.